Hi, welcome back. I want to talk a little bit about mail art and creating a stash. So, you guys know how much I love recycling, and I just wanted to show you some of the mail art. I do try and send out mail art, and with the holidays coming up, I really am focusing on creating a stash so that I have just some stuff to send out without having to put a lot of effort into it at the last minute. So I want to show you really quick what I do in creating my stash. I think that sometimes we get so overwhelmed, but if you find yourself in a zen of like painting papers, which you guys know I love, this is a great way to use up some of your painting papers as well. So all of these are magazine pages, and I have lined my mail art with brittle book pages. I do collect old books. Some of them, the pages are just not functional as far as like you couldn't put them in a journal or write on them, but you could use them to back another piece of mail. So let me just get you started so you see what I do, and then maybe you'll create it for yourself. I start with, this is just the back cover of a magazine. I think it was you guys, I don't know. It was just like a throwaway magazine. We get a lot of stuff like that in the mail. This is just the back piece. As long as you have a sturdy piece of magazine page, it's great. So then I just start painting, and you guys know me. I'm like the queen of like painted papers. I love it. I love creating just really cool pieces of background pages or journaling pages or whatever you want to call it, with my junk mail and with a sturdy piece of magazine pages. Now, if you don't have like the front and back covers of magazines, you could glue two pieces together. I would suggest that you paint the side that's going to be part of your mail art first before you glue it on to a second piece. Just works better. So then I just, I go for it. I just start spreading all kinds of paint on my junk mail, and I use a gift card or a credit card or a throwaway. My favorite one right now are Starbucks cards. They used Starbucks cards, so I like that. So if you guys get a lot of gift cards or whatever you get in the mail for birthdays or holidays or things like that, save them. They work really great as a painting tool. I like them primarily because you can spread a lot of paint really quickly on a large surface and get it really thin. And when you're painting magazine pages and stuff like that, thin paint is good. So then the next step I would do is I would just take a stencil and I would start, using whatever sort of contrasting colors that I liked that would go well with with my color palette. And I don't try to overthink it, because it is going to be sent in the post, and if whoever receives it is going to reuse it again, they're going to love it however they get it. I try not to overthink like what color palette. I just kind of go with what I have, and I just keep going until I get to a point where I like it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be folded up. That's all. So that just kind of gives you like the rough idea of like what I do for my junk mail art. So I start painting, stenciling. You can doodle. I would let it dry between each coat. So that would be the beginning. And then I'll get to this stage where I have my piece of mail art or my magazine page. It looks like it was some sort of fashion magazine. And it wasn't the cover. It was just a thicker, sometimes in these thicker fashion magazines or higher quality fashion magazines, they have inserts in them that are thicker. So that would be the beginning. And then I'm going to glue it onto, this is an old book page. Now, I just like it because it gives you just something different when you open it up. But, you don't have to. Not necessary, really. So then I put the glue on my magazine page, and you can use any kind of glue. You don't have to use permanent glue, but you can if you want. Just use what you have. You can use school glue. I would advise you to use a glue stick though. Wet glue, it'll wrinkle your your magazine pages, unless you want them wrinkled. You know, it's up to you. Everybody's mail art is different. So I think I've got a good coverage of on my magazine page. And then I just burnish it down. And you guys know me, I love the top of my glue stick as a burnisher, right? I love it. So then you get it to the point where you like it. You burnished it down, doesn't have to be perfect. Then you want to go ahead and trim off your excess paper, unless you want it to be ratty, which you don't have to, but it's up to you. You could use an envelope template if you want it. I don't find it necessary because I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. You don't have to sew it if you don't want to. You can use tape. I find using good quality washi or using glue and washi works good. So I'm going to fold it up a little bit more than, maybe it's like a third, maybe a little more than a third from the bottom. Now what I would do at this point is I would take it to my sewing machine and I would sew down on either side. I like to make a little lip on mine. You don't have to on yours. And I would also take it to my sewing machine or use glue or washi tape, right? And then you're going to fold it down. Let me just show you some of the mail art that I've made. Now, I really love making stuff with magazine pages. You may not. So like this is one. I love it. You know, and so whoever's going to receive it, I'm sure will use it in, if they're junk journal, will use it in their journal afterwards. You know, then all you need is an address label, return, and your stamp. I will, before I mail it, I will use some washi and put it down. I will put a little glue on the washi as well, just so that it stays down. But these are just a few of my mail art. You can see my Brittle Book pages. All of these are made from magazine pages. This is a larger size, 2 pieces of junk mail. I sewed them together to make like a larger envelope, right? So there you have it. I hope you guys jump in and make some mail art. Take care. Aloha.